TV stations that they intend to use Africans as guinea pigs to test their vaccine. So we have to be, of course, extremely vigilant about this and not allow them to do so. But I also want to say that we must remain calm. So far Africa has been, pretty spared, which is good. We hope that it will continue to be the case. But I want to remind us that really we've gone through much, much worse as African people. I remember that just a few days ago on March 29th, Madagascar commemorated the massacre of 80,000 of its people by the French between 1947 and 1948. The beginning of the 20th century, the Germans killed no more than 50,000 Aro people in Namibia. The French killed over 20,000 people in Cameroon. And of course, we can go on and on, talk about the Congo and the 20,000 Congolese killed by King Leopold. So, when we look at things and look at things in perspective, we realize that we should not get overly alarmed, because we have survived, things that were much, much worse for us. And still we must remain vigilant, as I said. What is interesting to me is that this current crisis in which Western countries are really engulfed shows that despite, the contempt that they may have for us, we do not have the monopoly over catastrophes and suffering, because it is them now that we see crying and dying, panicking, and so it's a reminder that we are all human beings. It certainly is a terrible blow to their arrogance. These are people who always like to present themselves as semi-gods, in charge of the whole world, thanks to their technology, thanks to their, medical discoveries and so on and so forth, thanks to their satellites, which allow them to spy on the whole world. It's interesting enough to see that they didn't see this little virus coming in at all, and that they are totally disarmed, totally disoriented, totally disorganized. They tell us that they don't have gloves, they don't have masks, they don't have enough medicine, they don't have hospital beds. They have to turn, places, stadiums, marketplaces into morgues where they just pile up their dead. So not that we should rejoice over this, but the truth of the matter is that, again, it's a change, from what we are accustomed to, this anti-African propaganda always showing us as the ones, suffering and dying and so on and so forth. It also raises questions about the implications of this crisis for the West. I cannot help thinking that it will only accelerate their demographic demise. We know that all, not just most, but all European countries, and in this I include North America and Canada, suffer from very low birth rates, which means that the population of those countries, the white population of those countries, is not being replaced as it should. We also know, that economically and socially, this crisis is also a very, very serious blow to the system. We're talking about the unemployment that has really gone up. And that's really an understatement. They're talking about the loss of productivity, which is also tremendous. They're talking about countries and individual, debt levels that really are, skyrocketing, and so on and so forth. So it is clear that it's going to really take a very long time for them to really recover from this, if they ever do recover from it. So what does that mean for us as African people? That's really my question. Many people have come up with different theories. The one that I personally favor, and I'm not saying it's correct, but that's the one I favor, because I try to be rational about this whole thing, is that it may very well be nature's way of ordering things or putting things back in order. They say that nature gets rid of what disturbs it, and I think that really the European paradigm, based on the industrialization and pollution, based on the contempt, the violation, right, of natural cycles. Really, this paradigm has been extremely disruptive and it's extremely detrimental, and that nature may very well be right ordering things and letting us know as human beings that we really need another paradigm. And that's where, to me, Afrocentricity is so important. I wrote a book called The Afrocentric Paradigm and the Afrocentric Imperative, where I explained back in 2003 that we really need to go back to African cultural values to deal with our natural environment, with other people around us, in a much more balanced way. And so this should be a moment of reflection for us. It should also be a moment of organization. Marcus Garvey used to say that the more confused and disoriented our enemies are, the more time we have to get ourselves together. And I think we really need to reflect on that as well. And would like this to be an invitation for all who are listening to me to join Afrocentricity International, so that together we can really rebuild ourselves as fast as we can and as strongly as we can. Unity is our aim and victory is our destiny.